Hey, what's up, Blue Team? So today I'd like to kick off a series about data. In the world of security, we talk about data integrity a lot, which basically just means taking active steps and precautions to make sure that you don't lose the files that matter to you. This series is going to be more about philosophy and best practices than it will about any particular tool or software. So if that sounds interesting to you, then let's get right into it. I'd like to start the conversation off with an idea that you might not have thought about before. You know how in cyberpunk books and movies, they often talk about the idea of humans getting cyborg augmentations to their bodies and using technology to redefine what it means to be human? Well, what if I told you that we already live in a world like that? Like right now. Our computers may not be physically implanted into our bodies, but they are a part of us in a way that has changed what it means to be human. In a way, the computers you use are a kind of extrasensory organ that exists outside of your body to augment what the fleshy sack of meat behind your eye sockets is capable of doing. Anytime you pull out your phone and search something on Google, you're using that silicon-based external brain of yours to think about the world and gather information in a way that would have never been possible just 50 years ago. I know that questions like, what is the self, are pretty philosophical in nature, but I think that they're pretty important when it comes to understanding how we interact with our technology and how it interacts with us. In the technologically advanced world we live in, we really do need to question whether it makes sense to define the concept of the self just to what exists inside the organic carbon-based bodies that we reside in anymore. Whether you like it or not, the device that you're using right now is an extension of yourself, and it has a profound effect on how you interact with and learn about the world around you. Personally, I think that that's really amazing. In a way, the silicon that thinks on our behalf is a part of ourselves. We're pioneers in a new era of human experience, and that's just so cool to me. Even though I think it's really cool to look at the world in this transhumanist kind of mindset where we see our computers as an extension of ourselves, I also think that this idea is pretty terrifying and makes us have to rethink certain everyday ideas in new ways. If the computers that we interact with aren't just tools, but are an augmentation to our minds, an extension of ourselves, then what does that say about the data that we store on them? I would argue that the files that you keep on your computer or phone aren't just data, they're memories, and as such, they're infinitely precious to you. When you lose data, you're losing a part of yourself. When you drop your phone in the pool and you lose a photo or you lose a journal that you wrote, it really is a form of memory loss, since the device that you were recording that on is just the part of your mind that you use to remember that. Or even worse, think about when someone breaks into your computer and reads your data without your consent. In a way, they are reading a part of your mind. It's really easy to procrastinate stuff like keeping regular backups of your data or otherwise curating the data integrity or security of your data because it's easy to forget how much our electronically stored data should mean to us. It isn't just our data, it's ourselves. Anyway, I hope that this little tangent made you think a little bit differently about the data that you have stored on your computer. But I hope that this is just the beginning. I want to go on a little bit of a journey to discuss the best practices for how to keep your precious memories safe and secure on your digital devices. So stay tuned for the next couple weeks, and I'm going to explore some of the best practices when it comes to data integrity. I plan on talking about the benefits and drawbacks of different forms of media that you can store your data on, the biggest threats to your data that you need to protect yourself from, and finally, the best practices that you can implement to keep your data intact. I don't plan on discussing any particular piece of software solution or anything like that. I more plan on discussing just the philosophical side of things. So I hope that you'll find it interesting, and I hope that you'll find it useful. Anyway, thanks. Bye.